see a lot of health influencers that are just not doing the right thing. What do I mean by that? You know, they're promoting steroids, they're promoting tirzepatide. They've pretended for 10 years of their career to be natural, and they're not. They're taking TRT, HRT, HGH, you know, they've got these absolutely, incredibly muscular physiques, and, and they give people advice on how to build muscle. And honestly, I don't think they're in any position to teach, young natural lifters how to build muscle, because they don't even mention semen retention. You see, a lot of people, I see in the gym, and I see out and about when I'm running on the track, and I see them outside. I can see like they're in the gym. A lot of people go to the gym, but they don't have that fire. They don't have the Kundalini fire. There's a lot of gunas in the gym. There's a lot of depleted kumas in the gym. There's a lot of nutbusters in the gym, and a lot of jerk-offs in the gym. And, they're in this kind of confused state. They think that they're going to build the right amount of muscle and get the best body that they want through changing their nutrition. A lot of people, a lot of influencers give advice on nutrition, and it's just so bad. Like, they promote seed oils, they promote TRT, tirzepatide, HGH, testosterone, steroids, and they call themselves health people, health influencers. They call themselves trainers and stuff like that, when they're actually giving very, very destructive advice. None of this advice is helping these people, and their advice on nutrition is absolutely ridiculous. As I was saying earlier, they're telling young naturals to take steroids, and they're telling them what to eat, and their eating advice is so bad. They're not promoting organic, natural, whole foods. They're not promoting that. They promote creatine, which is just a load of rubbish. Creatine's just salt, you know what I mean? It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then they promote protein powder. There was not any civilization, absolutely nobody, the Egyptians, the Native Americans, the Greeks. I can go through so many different tribes. There has never been a time in humanity in the past. You can go to the 1900s, 1800s, 1700s. You can go back 500 years. You can go back 1,000 years, where human beings have ate powder. That's the nutritional advice. And then when it comes to hydration, the advice that these fitness influencers are giving is just absolutely ridiculous. They're promoting these energy drinks. They're promoting, really bad things. They're promoting, some of them even promote alcohol, and they'll show like a random study where alcohol and energy drinks provided more muscle growth in a study on PubMed, which is just a Rockefeller study. You know what I mean? It's just, all the studies have been bought and paid for. Dr. Samuel Milham, a great guy who was talking about EMFs. I'm going to talk about EMFs later, but he was saying after the 1980s, after the 1970s, all the studies started becoming bought and paid for. This is again a thing that Jonas von der Plantz was talking about. He's a great nutritionist if you want to check him out. And Dr. Thomas Cowan was talking about that as well. He's a good guy if you want to check him out. And then we've got these health and fitness influencers. So they've given bad advice on nutrition. They've given bad advice on drinks. And then we go to like the clothing and stuff that these guys, these health influencers are promoting. They're promoting like polyester. They're promoting, bin bags. That's what polyester is. If you're wearing a polyester outfit, you're wearing a bin liner. Guys, so, treat yourselves. Like the guys like out there who are, a bit confused and want to build muscle and stuff, just always remember, like, never settle for less. Like, you guys deserve more. Do you know what I mean? And you should be going to the gym with, like, you know, always make sure you're wearing cotton and stuff like that, because when you're wearing the bin bag, the polyester t-shirt, the polyester underwear, and the polyester trousers, when you're wearing that bin bag, you're going to sweat in the gym, and all of that polyester and those microplastics are going to go into your body. You know, and you just don't want to do that. And it's just such a shame, because the health and fitness influencers out there are just not talking about this at all. You know, and I'm not hating on the health and fitness community, because there are some great guys. There are some great guys out there. You know, like, for example, there's one guy, he's called Cultivate Elevate, Matt Roski. He gives the best advice ever. He gives the best advice ever when it comes to health and nutrition. He is the guy. Like, I have learned so much from him. He is absolutely amazing. He has set so many new, you know, he's just, like, really opened my mind in ways that, about nutrition, about health, about lifestyle. He goes, you know, one of his quotes, what he likes to say, one of his quotes is, it's a lot more, he goes, it's about a lot, much more than just protein, carbs and fats. You know, it's what you do to your body, and you are accountable for absolutely everything that you do to your body. You know, that's his quote. He said it's a lot more than just protein, carbs and fats. He's got another quote as well. He says, you can either be a creator or you can be a destroyer. I liked those two quotes. They were really nice. Anyway, going back to a really important thing is EMFs now. I'm going to EMFs. Like, a lot of the health and fitness influencers now, they're promoting stuff like, you know, headphones, putting headphones to the ears, which you guys, you should not be putting your headphones to your ears. It's absolutely dangerous. The headphones go into your ears and they send dangerous EMF signals, dangerous vibrations and stuff like that into your brain, and it's hurting your brain, it's damaging your body, it's damaging your central nervous system. You don't want to be putting anything, you know, you definitely don't want to. Get rid of your Apple Watch, get rid of your, you know, your EMF headphones, your AirPods and your wireless Apple Watch and your wireless Aura Ring and your wireless, you know, you shouldn't even be going to the gym, guys, with your phone. You know what I mean? You should be in there for half an hour to 45 minutes. If you're a person who likes training 1 hour, train 1 hour. If you're like somebody who likes training 1 hour and a half, train 1 hour and a half, but just don't have your phone on you. You just don't need your phone in the gym. You know what I mean? You know, you can just bring like a nice stopwatch with you when you want to track your time between sets and stuff like that. Another thing, now this is, I'm going to the main thing now. Okay, so they don't talk, first of all, anything good about these four things that I've just mentioned: nutrition, and then you've got your drinks, and then you've got the clothing, and then you've got the EMFs. Not a single health and fitness influencer, I haven't seen a single one talk about sexual exhaustion. Okay, now this is the big deal. This is the most important one. A lot of men, when they go to the gym, right, what the health and fitness influencers know is that a lot of people that are following them are gooners. They know that they are nutbusters. The health and fitness influencers, they know that a lot of people, young men that are following them, are nutbusters and gooners. And they literally think the nutbusters and the gooners, because they're in such a low state of mind, they are in, like, trapped in lust and anger and fear and superstition and victimhood and self-pity. They are absolutely 100% trapped in that frequency, and because they've never gone a single day without busting their nuts off, they are so sexually exhausted. There is absolutely little to no seminal fluid flowing around their body, and that's why they can't build muscle. That is 100% why this new generation of young men have been, you know, emasculated or demasculinized, you know, and or you could say they've been feminized. They're really skinny. They're having a really hard time putting on muscle. They're having a really hard time eating enough to put on the muscle. They're having a really hard time with consistency. And the root of this problem, what is crippling them the most, is sexual exhaustion. You know, I've talked about in my past videos how Muhammad Ali, great people like Muhammad Ali, great people like Mike Tyson, you know, talked very, very heavily about, you know, well, they didn't talk heavily about it, but they gave hints and stuff like that. Like Muhammad Ali was talking about dodging the women. Mike Tyson said he restrained himself for 5 years. But that is one huge thing. Like, you know, a gooner is just 30 days of semen retention away. And by the way, semen retention is 100%. Semen retention and celibacy, I see these things as lifestyles. I don't see this as something, you know, that I'm going to do for 3 months and then stop. I don't see this, and I've been doing it a while. I've been doing this a while, you know, and really importantly, I just want to add that I've been doing it for the right reasons. You know, I've been doing it so I feel, you know, the maximum amount of self-love. I feel the maximum amount of that masculine life force. I feel the maximum amount of the self-respect, the self-integrity, the humility, the magnetic energy, the chi, the prana, the etheric energy. You know, I want to feel that at the maximum all the time. I want to be like at my 100% A game, my most dangerous version all the time, you know. And a gooner is just 30 days of semen retention away from being, you know, and after that 30 days, he's going to understand, like, if he meets the right coach, if he talks to the right person who can really guide him through those 30 days, because those 30 days are the hardest, because he has to understand that lust is just in the imagination, and he needs to learn how to take the attention off the imagination and move it to the center of the chest in this chakra here and put himself in equilibrium. And he has to just stay in equilibrium for, you know, and he has to be taught techniques about meditation and breathing and stuff, and how to move and transmute his energy correctly, because he doesn't know how to do that, you know, and how to relax the mind, how to just switch off thoughts and imagination and just be in the state of spiritual awareness, be in the state of intuition, just stay in that state, stay in the heart level of awareness. So a lot of health and fitness influencers, yeah, they're not covering that. Sexual exhaustion is a really, really big thing. You know, you're gonna see, like, you know, this is really important. Like, you know, you might be in the gym, or you might be in a restaurant, you might be in a, hopefully it's a really good high quality restaurant where they sell organic food. Hopefully you're not in one where you're getting your meats and stuff absolutely soaked in seed oils. You know, and you might notice, like, you know, like how the woman is so vibrant, the woman's got so much energy and she's so bubbly and she's glowing, and the male boyfriend, you might notice, I've seen this a lot of time in a grocery store, in a restaurant, in the gym, outside when I'm walking. I've seen it, you know, in quite a few places, you know, when I'm in a DIY store and stuff like that, you know, girlfriend with the boy, and the guy is just absolutely, like, I can just tell straight away, like, bro, you are just completely sexually exhausted. Do you know what I mean? He is ejaculated too often, he's twitching, he's shaking, he's moving all over the place, his eyes can't stay in the same place, and he can't stay still, he's fidgeting and moving all over the place. And, you know, I was just like, goodness me, you are completely depleted. You know what I mean? You are a depleted. He's not a coomer and a gooner. He's you know, he's with a girl and stuff, but he's definitely 100% ejaculating too often, and it's just really bad. You know, when you see the guy in the gym, when you see a guy in the gym training with the girlfriend, and the girlfriend squatting more than the man. Yeah, wow, that's just really embarrassing. That, yeah. So guys, I want you to really ask yourself deeply, you know what I mean? Like, why am I not making gains? Do you understand? Like, why am I going to the gym? Why am I plateauing and stuff like that? There's no such thing as a plateau. When I stopped gooning and cooming and nut busting and jerking and doing all that stuff, when I stopped doing that, you know, and I know only the real ones are gonna respect this video, and only the real ones are gonna watch the video even to this part. People are gonna watch this video the first 3 minutes and they're not even gonna get to this part. But ask yourself honestly, do you know what I mean? I'm going to the gym and I'm gooning, and ever since I've been doing that, like, this is what the guys need to ask themselves, the young lads, you know what I mean, who are, you know, gooning and cooming. They need to ask themselves, like, you know, and be honest, look in the mirror and just say, I'm not making any progress because I can't stop busting my nuts off. Do you understand? I can't stop it because I'm having nocturnal emissions every single night. You know what I mean? And not only is it ruining my, you know, my gains in the gym, you know, like, what I mean, I see guys in the gym all the time and they've just been lifting, like, you know, the 10 kg weights, right? Okay, they're doing that. Like, men, I'm talking about men. I'm not talking about women. I'm not talking about women. Women are lifting more. men are lifting the 10 kg dumbbells, like young guys, right? You know, they're like 18, 20, 22 years old, right? Younger than me. And, you know, they're doing like bench press and stuff, and they're like struggling with the tens, and I can just see in their eyes, you know what I mean, the depleted Kumarism that has completely, their minds are destroyed. Do you understand? They are just coming to the gym for no reason, and it's because there isn't that many real people on social media who are really talking about, you know, the power of celibacy and chastity, and, you know, the power of sexual abstinence. You know, if there were more people talking about it, you see, because they think, do you understand? Because in school now, like, teachers and doctors and pharmaceutical specialists and whatnot and nurses, they're promoting now, like, I've kind of noticed this on social media, they're telling these young men that masturbation is normal. That is the most dangerous thing that's happening right now. Do you understand? Like, they think it's normal. They don't even see that or consider that a problem. When they're going to the gym and they want to pack on size and put on muscle, they're looking for information about nutrition. They're looking for information about how to be consistent. They're looking for information about how to strengthen the mind. You cannot do any of that without controlling and transmuting and really cultivating the sex force. You know, you can't even do that. You're never gonna be able to make gains in the gym, and you're never gonna forget the gym. You're never gonna be able to create anything. The life principle is the sex principle. The life force is the sex force. Everything has come from that energy. Everything in existence has come from that energy. Everything that you want to put in existence needs that energy for you to put it into existence. For you to create, you need that energy to put it in there. And sorry, I was getting a bit loud there, but you are never going to be able to create anything. You can be a creator, or you can be a destroyer. You can be a man who retains, and you can be that man who is celibate and abstains and learns to walk the path of love, do you understand, and humility and awareness. Or you can be the man who goes down the lust path, and, you know, and you are just going to constantly, you know, be that kind of guy that never makes any gains in the gym. You're never going to put on any size, any muscle. You're going to be 65 kilograms for the rest of your life, and slowly you'll just decline. Do you understand? Because you can't stop wanking. When you're on that path, you're just going to be constantly living in fear, and do you understand? Like, you're not going to have a plan. And as Terence McKenna said, something like, he was talking to a mushroom, and the mushroom said to him, Terence McKenna, when he was experimenting with psychedelics, the mushroom said to him, if you don't have a plan, you're going to be a part of somebody else's. Do you understand? And I really want the depleted Kumas to understand this, because they're never going to make any gains unless they change themselves from the inside, you know. And I understand that there's not that many health and fitness influencers out there who are talking about sexual exhaustion. Do you understand? And how masturbation causes unbelievable things, like, you know, it causes damage to the brain, it causes damage to the central nervous system, their dopamine system is completely fucked up. You know, that's one of the most dangerous things about masturbation and about ejaculation in general. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're a guy with a girl and you're ejaculating like on the weekly basis, which is, you know, in my opinion, far too much, you know, you're with a girl and stuff, and you're constantly releasing and dissipating and fornicating and copulating, you know, you get an absolutely huge dopamine spike. Your body thinks that it's achieved. So you've tricked your body into believing that it's achieved something. You haven't delayed gratification. You've just given yourself self-gratification out of absolutely nothing. And, you know, you're not even going to have that feeling to go to the gym and stuff like that. I thought this video, though, was really important to make, because when it comes to building muscle, I'm telling you right now, when you've got your sexual energy under control, when you are on semen retention, you know, and not only are you going to see gains in the gym, but you're going to want to do kind of things like what I'm doing right now. You're going to want to make content. You're going to want to coach other men. You're going to want to speak to them. You're going to want to, you know, just you know, give love in different ways. You're going to want to create a school and stuff, and you're going to want to help other people out, and you're going to, you know, meet women who respect you and men who respect you, and you're going to be honest. I don't even edit my videos. I don't edit my videos. I'm probably the only guy. I'm not really consider myself a health guy. I consider myself a man, just a man with, you know, with fully loaded nuts. Do you understand? That's what I consider myself, a man with fully loaded nuts and a lot of experience, and a guy who can really help other men. That's what I consider myself. Do you understand? And I don't even edit my videos. None of my videos are edited. Absolutely none of them. You know what I mean? You see people all the time, they make a video, they have to edit it 20 to 30 times. I'm completely connected to consciousness, intuition, to God. You know what I mean? That's the reason why I did Semen Retention in the first place, you know, and then everything else, like the benefits are just absolutely incredible. Do you know what I mean? I could never bench press 100 kg. I can do it now. I could never, you know, shoulder press 70 kilos. I can do it now. I could never squat 120 kg. I can do it now. I could never deadlift 145 kilos. I can do it now. Do you know what I mean? Especially for my size, and it's only going to get better because I'm bulking. So the reason you're not making gains is because you are sexually exhausted.